so OnePlus has faced some flack over the past few weeks related to the OnePlus 15. Basically, the phone ran hot during benchmarks. So hot, in fact, that it failed to complete some of the more intense ones. Well, OnePlus has now pushed a software update to the OnePlus 15, so the big question is, does it fix these overheating problems? The answer is yes. But there's a bit more nuance to it that a simple one-word answer doesn't quite convey. Before I get into all that though, let me give you a very brief rundown of what we've seen so far from the OnePlus 15. If you haven't watched them yet, we have a full review video of the phone and another video going over the overheating problems we saw, along with a bunch of data from other phones running the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5. I'll leave links to both of those videos in the description. As a quick summary though, all phones with the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 get crazy hot during intense benchmarking sessions. The only phone with that processor that can withstand the heat is the Red Magic 11 Pro, which just so happens to have liquid cooling and fan support built into it. Now, during normal usage, all these phones are fine. But once you start pushing their limits, they either get really hot and throttle performance significantly, or in the case of the OnePlus 15, get really hot and then just shut down the benchmark before it can finish. As one would expect, this negatively affected our review score of the OnePlus 15. There are a lot of other issues with the phone, such as the camera hardware downgrades, the display resolution downgrade, and a few other things. But the phone's inability to be properly benchmarked was certainly a factor. During our review period, we reached out to OnePlus about this overheating problem, and it gave us this statement. We are already refining the thermal curve so that our peak performance remains uncompromised while surface temperatures stay comfortable. So that brings us to today. OnePlus pushed out a software update for the OnePlus 15, and I've got it right here. We reran all our tests, and not only did the benchmarking fully complete this time, but we saw some really great results. Let's start with the basics. In Geekbench 6, which tests CPU scores, we saw the OnePlus 15 with this new software update actually get slightly better results than it did previously. Furthermore, when we swapped the phone into its built-in performance mode, it got even better. We saw this happen in both multi-core and single-core scenarios. Please note that while these are improvements, they are pretty minor and fall within the margin of error for tests like this. But still, even if stats are totally unaffected by this update, that's fine because these are still terrific scores. In 3D Mark tests for graphics, we saw a similar story. Not only did the standard mode now fare better than last time, but temperatures were way better. We saw peak temps during stress tests of about 47 degrees Celsius internally. This is miles ahead of the 52.7 degrees Celsius we saw externally before this update. OnePlus was able to drop the temp significantly and increase performance, which is pretty amazing. The one anomaly we see on these charts is that in the Solar Bay test, which focuses on ray tracing in games, the OnePlus 15 standard mode actually outperformed its built-in performance mode. This is weird, and we're not really sure what happened. Regardless, the scores are great, the temps are good, so we're not complaining. So you might be thinking, the OnePlus 15 is the best performing Android phone you can get, and it's time to go grab one. Well, hold off on that for just 1 second. There's some more data we need to examine here. First, let's take a look at these scores compared to the OnePlus 13. I'm going to skip over performance mode tests here for the sake of simplicity, so these Geekbench 6 scores are with both phones in their respective standard modes. As you can clearly see, the OnePlus 15 beats the OnePlus 13 handily in both single-core and multi-core CPU tests. This is a clear-cut win for the OnePlus 15. The problem, though, is that in every other benchmark, things get much less clear. Look at PC Mark Work 3.0. Here, the OnePlus 13 actually does better than the OnePlus 15. Once again, this minor increase might fall within the test margin of error, but even then, that would mean that in a worst case scenario, the OnePlus 13 and the OnePlus 15 are basically the same for performance when it comes to standard smartphone activities. Things get even murkier from here. In the wildlife stress test, both phones benchmark about the same. In fact, there are significant jumps in later runs in which the OnePlus 13 handily beats the OnePlus 15. Also, pay attention to these thermals. During the wildlife stress test, the OnePlus 15 runs consistently hotter during the whole run, meaning that temps have gone up, but performance hasn't increased that much to compensate. In the wildlife extreme stress test, the OnePlus 15 starts out running faster and cooler than the OnePlus 13, but not by much. In a short amount of time though, the phones essentially begin to match one another, with the OnePlus 13 seeing similar jumps in performance in later runs that the OnePlus 15 just can't match. Finally, in the Solar Bay stress test for ray tracing, the OnePlus 13 runs significantly cooler with performance that is practically the same as the OnePlus 15. All this data tells a story, which is that for quick bursts of activity, like a short gaming session or a quick render of 4K video, the OnePlus 15 is going to be better than the OnePlus 13. But once you get beyond that and get to extended gaming sessions or long renders of high definition video, the OnePlus 13 will either match or even exceed the OnePlus 15 and run cooler while doing it. Given that the OnePlus 13 has better camera hardware, a 2K display, and now that it's nearly a year old, a lower price, I still stand by what I said in our OnePlus 15 review. The OnePlus 13 is simply the better buy if you're thinking about getting one of these two phones. I commend OnePlus for acknowledging the overheating problems we saw with the OnePlus 15 and quickly fixing them. The company was able to make the phone run better and cooler than before, which is terrific. Unfortunately, the company's smartphone masterpiece is still the OnePlus 13 across the board. Okay, I have one more thing to talk about before I go, which is MediaTek. I know that some people think MediaTek processors aren't as good as Snapdragon processors, but I want to show you these charts of the OnePlus 15 after this software update compared to the OPPO Find X9 Pro, which is running the MediaTek Dimensity 9500. First, Geekbench 6 scores show the OnePlus 15 leading the way handily in both single-core and multi-core testing. We're well beyond the margin of error here. The OnePlus 15 is clearly the leader. It's a similar story with PCMark Work 3.0. For your standard smartphone tasks, you're going to see better performance on the OnePlus 15 than you will on OPPO's latest. When it comes to gaming though, the story changes significantly. In standard single runs of 3D Mark, the Find X9 Pro comes way ahead. In Wildlife Extreme, the Find X9 Pro shows similar or better results while running much cooler, with a peak internal temp that is cooler by a whopping 6 degrees Celsius. It's the same story with ray tracing inside Solar Bay Extreme, with equal or better performance running much cooler. So yeah, the OnePlus 15's overheating problems have been fixed, but is it the best OnePlus phone you can get? In my opinion, no. The OnePlus 13 is still better. And the OnePlus 15's performance is much better now after the software update, but is it the best phone for gamers? Not really, no. The Find X9 Pro has better gaming numbers at cooler temps. There's also the Red Magic 11 Pro, which is better for gamers who refuse to go MediaTek for whatever reason, since it has more robust cooling solutions. So where does that leave the OnePlus 15? Honestly, it's in a tough spot. If you want a more well-rounded smartphone experience while still having plenty of performance to throw around, the OPPO Find X9 Pro is the better choice for people outside the US, and the OnePlus 13 is the better choice for those who can't get that phone in their country. If all you care about is gaming, then the Red Magic 11 Pro is the one you want. I suppose folks who don't like the price of the OPPO Find X9 Pro and don't want a phone that's already a year old should look at the OnePlus 15. That's a pretty niche audience, but it's there. Anyway, thanks for watching. And if you want to see some more charts related to this, be sure to visit AndroidAuthority.com using the links in the description. See you all later.